Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Massive Heat. And if you're watching, you've got Massive Heat. I'm Jack Farmer, being joined by Matt Morgan and Raj Geary. Fellas, we have a jam-packed episode for everyone here tonight, so we're just going to jump right into it if you don't mind. We're going to start by talking about Hulk Hogan. Obviously passed away last week. We chatted about it a little bit, but now we've had the chance to see SmackDown, Raw, and AEW all sort of give their tributes to Hulk Hogan, Hollywood Hogan, Terry Bollea, however you refer to him. Raj, I'm going to start with you because, Matt, I know you have a lot to say about this. Raj, any thoughts on how they presented their tributes to Hulk Hogan? And how do you feel these companies did?
I thought the tribute tonight was great. I thought the one on Friday, like kind of made me teary eyed, like watching it. It was like my childhood all in that video. I think I'm more used to it tonight, since then. But I thought tonight's video was better, but it didn't quite hit me as emotionally as Friday night did. But I thought it was fantastic. And I thought AEW, they don't have any Hulk Hogan footage and his beef with Tony Khan and everything. I thought it was a classy tribute by Tony Schiavone. So, they didn't have to do anything. I'm glad they did. And Tony Schiavone was the right guy to do it. So I thought it was very well done.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good point. Without them having video footage, you can't really show a package. And so you just really have to have someone say something. I thought Tony did a great job. And I agree with you. The video, the packages that WWE puts together are absolutely insane. Matt, I want your thoughts on these tribute packages. But also, I had a question for you. Have you ever been a part of one of these situations where the wrestlers come out on the stage? I want to talk to you about that situation as well, but overall thoughts first.
Yes, I have, but not on the level of Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan, like perfectly put, is the Babe Ruth of professional wrestling. And we're blessed to grow up in an era in the early 80s. For those of us, I keep saying 80s babies, that grew up as adolescents in the early 80s, middle 80s, and late 80s. And we got blessed. We got Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, Mike Tyson, and Hulk Hogan in the same sentence, by the way, folks. Don't get that twisted. As humongous, ginormous pop culture icons before people even knew what the term pop culture meant. Okay, pop culture didn't start getting out in the world until the 90s. If you go back in time and watch, pop culture was not even a term until people like those aforementioned athletes I just mentioned started it, quite frankly. And I liked WWE's. AEW's was cool, and I wasn't expecting anything from them whatsoever because it's a woke company with respect. That's their prerogative, right? Where Tony's like, oh, Hulk Hogan and Linda Hogan or whoever the hell it was could never come to our show. Like, they want to come to your show? Get out of here, Tony. If they want to see, I'm not gonna say what I'm gonna say, so I'm not gonna say it. I was about to bury them. All right, screw it. I'm gonna do it anyway. Spot monkeys that can't get on roller coaster rides, then yes, they would have lined up to come to your show, Tony, but they're not coming. So the fact that you ban people that don't want to come to your show is kind of an oxymoron. And it shows what you think about the history of our business, because you want to be Mr. Oh, I want to go back 15 years ago and take something away from a guy that definitely apologized for it. And I wasn't there. I don't want to get into the weeds on it because I'm not in the locker room in WWE when he was supposed to apologize, etc., etc. Here's what I know. And you think I'm leaning in Christianity, guys. Every time I do this damn show, I always wear my cross on anything I do because I know what I believe in with my religion, and you're all welcome to believe what you believe with your religion. And I believe if you've made good with your maker, who the F are we to judge you? I'm not making excuses. I'm just calling a spade in regards to, if you practice religion, you're supposed to practice forgiveness. At least in most religions you are. And not just Christianity, not just Catholicism, many religions. So look, if my man found his way to Christ and I gave a deposition of my interception with Hulk when he was at TNA and watching him getting closer and closer and closer to Christ again, because he's always put God out there in front of everything he's ever done, not just as a promo, not just as a bumper sticker, because he always believed in it. But I witnessed it firsthand when he battled his own addiction put a gun to his own head, almost killed himself, and committed suicide. People keep forgetting that. It was in the same terms, in the same era in which he said the terrible things he said, the horribly racist things he said. But with the same token, we have a newer fan base that just sees that, unfortunately, and doesn't see, without this guy, you guys would not be wrestling fans, because wrestling would be kaput. Just kaput. Where do you think they got the term WrestleMania from? Do you think Vince just grabbed it with his great marketing ability off of a tree somewhere? No. He hijacked it from Hulkamania that was going bananas across the country in AWA. And then we put Hulk into WWF. It got even 10 times bigger. Okay. And he bit off of it with WrestleMania. Don't let anybody tell you something different, because that's how it went down. And again, without him, I never would have a pro wrestling career. So I will always feel the way I'll feel about him, because as a 6-year-old little boy, that was my idol. My idol with the LJN figure, and watching him on everything was Saturday Night Live. My first Saturday Night Live was because my parents videotaped it, because him and Mr. T were on it together, right? Fast forward to the wrestling part of what he contributed, right? Fast forward more to now I'm a pro wrestler 25 years later, and the dude's still in the business. And I get the opportunity to share a ring with him. I get the opportunity to share a locker room with him. Way more important than I shared this on our last podcast. That was my biggest backer I had at TNA. Once Jim Cornette left, Dutch Mantell left, and Jeff Jarrett left. All I had was Hulk at that point, backing me nonstop and blessing me with the honor of jacking his Shea Stadium robe off his Hulk Hogan's Beat Shop wall, and turning that into a storyline where I would wear his Hulk Hogan robe for the next, 6 months, 8 months, 9 months on television. He picked me to do that. He didn't have to do that. So they always say, don't meet your idol because they're going to disappoint you. He didn't disappoint me in any single way you could possibly think of it. He always impressed me and always would admit his faults and how he's got to become a better human being. And that was big to me as a man that was going to be, in this a few years later, a father to my own little boy.
And Matt, you kind of mentioned something there, about, when Hogan said those horrible racist things,
Mm-hmm.
and definitely no justification for it.
No.
The year that happened, that 2008, there were two incidents also with the son Nick in the prison. But you mentioned him having a gun to his head, and I think people forget what a dark place he was in at that point. His son is in prison. He's going through a nasty divorce. Brooks' music career wasn't really taking off. He had put a ton of money into that. He had to spend a ton of money on Nick Hogan's case, and he went to prison. Lost a ton of money in that Linda Hogan case. So he was just really at rock bottom. I'm not saying it justified. I'm not condoning.
No, of course it doesn't.
He said, but he was rock bottom.
But brother, people got to put, instead of the rose-colored glasses on, being culture vultures, right? They've got to, at the same time, put the same glasses on for this crazy little thing we call context. Mm-hmm. And I'll go back to that context because it wasn't Terry that shared that with me. Mm-hmm. Okay, it was Layla Ali that shared that conversation with me on the set of American Gladiators. Because I was the only pro wrestler that was added as a gladiator, where I played the Beast in 2008 on NBC. That Hulk Hogan and Layla Ali were our guest hosts, right? Every single week. And they were great at it. Layla's a bad, what, by the way. But for her to say, I know how much you look up to this guy, you need to talk to him because you're the only pro wrestler here. Did you know this? I'm like, no. And then we read in his book later that he shared that story with everybody about him with a gun to his head and his own painkiller addiction, etc. And I can speak on that because I'm a 19-year recovered painkiller addict myself. I own everything I've ever done under my own addiction because I was a functioning addict, but not everybody's a functioning addict, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and not everyone's going to react the same way under those kind of extraordinary circumstances. Again, going through a
Oh
divorce,
God.
your child is in prison. It's obviously.
No, but nobody else is talking about this, Raj. Nobody else will talk about the context at the time. They just want to throw the hammer at him. And can I don't want to give another podcast credit because it's not on the same network, but I got to. Go, folks, when you're done watching this, go back and watch Kevin Nash's podcast. He said it best. And if you guys know Kevin's always in the middle of the road on every conversation. He sees always both sides, very straight-minded opinion. And he said it best. He's like, so hold up. Who the hell are any of us to get in the way of somebody's maker? And if he made good with his maker, who the bleep are any of us to think we're better and we get to judge them and point our fingers more than their own maker? It was really well said by him.
Yeah, we've heard from a lot of people from this whole thing. Obviously, some positive, some negative, depending on who you're listening to and who you're talking to.
Majority positive, thank God. If you look at any mainstream news channel on either side of the aisle, left, right, or in the middle, which is no such thing as anymore on news networks, at least, it was majorly positive. And they, in some of the channels, every few of them would add that last 2 cents in there, which they should if they're telling the full story. But I love the overall coverage of him with his photo, his mural, forget photo, the photo, mural on Madison Square Garden the night he won the championship from Iron Sheik. And they reclassified that in a mural for him out there and called a spade. Without him, there's no pro wrestling. We're not doing this podcast right now. I don't get to become a pro wrestler. None of it happens without him. I don't care what anybody says. That's my opinion.
Well, yeah, and I think some people take that so literally. When obviously there'll probably be pro wrestling in Japan and Mexico, but wrestling as we know it, as a popular form of entertainment that's on our televisions, on cable every week, that's making $1 billion a year. It's very likely it would not be here today if it weren't for Hulk Hogan.
So if I can just add 2 more cents in that, Crockett had Ric Flair, those major stars. Mm-hmm. They did not even understand the letters IP, let alone understand what IP even meant in regards to blowing their business up 10 times bigger. They had no concept of that until Hulk came along. That was their first experience with WCW/NWA/ the Crockett Promotions of what IP truly meant. IP is what draws the eyeballs. IP is what put asses in seats. IP is what put T-shirts on the kids in the arena that draws the most money more times than not. And without that, I'm sorry, Crockett Promotions would not have succeeded.
Who would have, which of the, people say like, well, the territories were healthy in the 80s. The territories would not be around today. Like, that's just the reality. No. I mean,
they were fizzling out.
Yeah, it was going to happen sooner or later. Vince did it. I mean, there were other national promotions. WCW was, GCW at first on Turner.
So come on, let's go back in time and remember. The Patriot was on ESPN when I got home from school. Yeah. None of me, my friends, knew who the bleep that guy was.
Yeah.
With respect to him, I'm trying to be disrespectful. I'm just keeping it a buck.
Right. So when people say Hulk, wrestling would be healthy today without Hulk, it's like, think about it. There are people that are saying
what morons are saying this.
There are people saying that are saying,
these are people with respect to them. They've never ran a business a day or an iota in their life.
Yeah.
Well, people have said if it wasn't Hulk Hogan, someone else would have come around, or maybe Vince could have used a different person. And I would say
tried it with Lex.
Maybe he could have had someone else, but Hulk Hogan was the one that did it. So
Jack,
time out. It's like someone could
time out. No, I'm not leaving it. I'm not leaving it. He tried so many other Hulk Hogans that failed miserably. Yeah. Miserably. He tried diminutive size stars. Love Shawn Michaels. Love myself, Bret Hart. Warrior. But the Bret Hart is a great worker. He can work circles around Hulk. Great, good story. Could put asses every 8 inches like Hulk. No, nor could Shawn, respectfully.
Yeah, and when they did that, when Vince did his 80s expansion, who could he have put in? I know people are saying Dusty. It's not the same. Dusty wouldn't have worked.
No, because he
it's
didn't have
charismatic as hell. Yeah.
He was
Well, and
definitely
that's what I'm
right.
saying is there could have been other people, but guess what? Hogan was the one that did it. So what are we
let me tell
arguing
you
about?
who it would be. Let me tell you who would be in Vince's perfect mind. Who was the guy that wrestled Bret Hart with the
Tom McGee?
It would be Tom McGee with Hulk Hogan's charisma somehow magically injected in him. That kind of person is who it would be, and it wouldn't work. Come on, guys, go back and watch
Powers.
He's another guy that has a tough time getting on a roller coaster, let alone getting to WrestleMania. But nonetheless, my point to you is this: go back in time and watch WrestleMania 1. Go back. Watch as much as everybody gives all the credit in the world to Piper. For every Hogan, you have to have a Piper. I'm not going to get into that debate because Piper played his part and then some. But if you go back and watch Hogan's body language just being introduced walking down the aisle at WrestleMania 1, you could not tell a pro wrestler, hey, by the way, when you come into the ring, I want you to show body language, body English. Nobody could possibly understand what you would be asking of them. He got it from day one to know when he comes out, face the back of the crowd, then face the front of the crowd as he's in the aisle way. Like, I cannot go back and watch it. Watch all of his entrances, folks. The pop always speaks for itself, and I'll shut up. Sorry.
Well, if you want to look at just the impact, he hasn't been on TV regularly or in wrestling for 25 years. But if you ask most people to name a wrestler, Hulk Hogan is still one of the first names that people say.
I'll raise you one. Name any wrestler death that we've ever witnessed in our childhoods and our adulthoods that can hold a candle to the news coverage that Hulk's death got. We'll never see it again, by the way. With respect to Stone Cold, it won't touch what we just witnessed with the news coverage of Hulk's death. It will not come close.
I mean, there was one, but I don't want to say it.
No, I have to say that because I will predict it. No disrespect to Steve. He had the shortest, best run ever, right?
Raj is talking about something different.
I'm talking about something different.
Someone else who got a lot of coverage when they passed away, but it was for the
Benoit
reasons. Yeah.
Obviously, very different.
Okay. That might be one, but that was all negative. This was all positive for Hulk. Very different.
Speaking of positive, we got a super chat from Bigfoot Sneakerhead who says, thank you, Bigfoot Sneakerhead, by the way. Says, Hulk Hogan was the reason I started watching wrestling. Begged my mother to take me to watch No Holds Barred. Thank you for your contribution to wrestling.
Who else saw No Holds Barred in the theater? I did.
I didn't see it in theater, but I've seen it. It's hard to find on streaming now, by the way. I don't know. I couldn't find it. I was trying to find it. I couldn't find it on any of the services. I was
in your defense, Jack. You're a few years younger than us, and by the time it came on video, you're like, "This was mad corny," is what you should have thought.
You'd be surprised at the kind of movies I like. Yeah. I like good corny movies. So Vincent says, "I wish I didn't see No Holds Barred."
I remember I forced my dad, was a big wrestling fan too. So, but I had to kind of nudge him to go see it. And afterwards, you know how you kind of have to convince your dad, you're like, yeah, that was really good.
Yes.
And he's like, shut the F up.
Man, Jeff Bailey says, I love the re-releases of the LJN figures.
Yes,
I still have my original ones from the 80s. And El Pancho Loco says, still have my old Hogan LJN that I made into Hollywood Hogan with a Sharpie.
Nice.
No, Raj, call that commenter up right now and tell him he stole that idea from me. Say it. Tell him.
You stole the idea from
first. Matt. I am the first in American history that took his LJN figure when I was still in college trying to be cool and brought my future wife to my room one day. And on my television set was my LJN Hulk Hogan figure that I made a beard out of the Sharpie, like he's saying, and wrote NWO for life across the chest like a complete mark. And my wife never said, wait, what the hell is that crap in your room, Matt? She was always on board and always eventually watched wrestling with me. That's how I knew she was the one. One of the many reasons.
These LGN re-releases, though, it's such a small thing, but the fact that it says WWE on it,
I'm getting it. And
I don't
LJN
know.
has the LJN upper left corner. I got to get it
It
again.
says WWE on it. I wish they could work something out with the World Wildlife Fund to just borrow those letters for this line.
But that ain't the hook. No, bro. To me, that ain't the hook. The hook is they got the LJN with the rainbow logo on the back. Like, that's all I remembered as a kid.
With WWE's money at this point, how can they not just throw some money to the World Wildlife Fund? I mean, come on. Like, they wouldn't even know. They probably have it in their petty cash drawer. They could just throw it to World Wildlife Fund and get that.
This crazy thing called legal precedent, and you cannot throw money at it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I don't know. You throw enough money at most things, you can find a way to fix it.
You would think.
Save a couple pandas and let us use these letters for some merch.
Yeah, just maybe throw up a commercial for them, or put it on the mat. Now you could just put a panda on the mat.
You can't go back now. You cannot go
back. So there was some negativity on the internet about the Hulk Hogan passing. There was one really unfortunate situation with this, and that was Chelsea Green.
Why her?
She made a comment on CBS saying,
I watched it.
Quote, polarizing political views aside, he was an absolute icon, talking about Hogan. Then followed up the tweet that has since been deleted. Political views aside, Hulk Hogan's influence on the wrestling world was clearly undeniable. We are mourning the loss of an icon, a legend.
Yep.
Fans were upset because of the comments from Hulk Hogan made previously, and possibly the support for Donald Trump. She clarified, saying that her stance on racism is unwavering, and apologized if the tribute seemed dismissive of real concerns. And then on the 26th, she said social media was supposed to be a fun place. It's been overwhelming, and I need to step away for a little bit after she was getting death threats because of this. This is just unfortunate, and there's no reason for this in any way, shape, or form. But Matt, what's your takeaway on this? Any thoughts on this?
My number one, I'm good friends with her husband, Matt, and I did reach out to him. I go, screenshot those for me. I will directly send them to the FBI for her. Any death threat she's ever gotten. That's disgusting. You don't play around with that. And I don't blame her for being scared because of that. But Chelsea Green, of all the people, that's who you guys are going to culture vulture? That's who you're going to try to attempt to cancel in the comment section? Wake up, folks. You're in the vocal minority. Again, in today's country, guys, we're welcome to have different political viewpoints, whether you agree with them or I don't agree with them. Okay, so whether you're pissed off at Hulk for supporting Trump, okay, that's your prerogative. But you don't then get to bury and threaten a female WWE superstar talent because you don't agree with her talking about him as he dies. Guys, give it a week, give it a month, give it 2 months, and then do your culture vulture crap, where you all try to one-up each other in the comment sections, but none of you actually get off your ass and do anything to commit to your own communities, to do the things you want to see get done by your elected officials, like people like myself have done. When my son was diagnosed with autism, right after that, 2017, I ran for office. I got off my ass. I tried to do something different. What are you all doing? Comment section warriors. That's all you'll be when you're threatening a female talent. Shame on you, especially her. She's one of the very first girls to call out racism in the independent scene. And you guys had her back like yesterday. You all loved her for it, right? You guys were all propping her up. Yay, Chelsea. And the minute when she gets interviewed on a mainstream network like CBS, international news, not just national, and they ask her opinion of Hulk Hogan's contributions to professional wrestling, and you're pissed at her for talking about he's the Babe Ruth of pro wrestling, he's why she has a job today. Any other of us that came after him have ever had a job to feed our families in pro wrestling? Shame on all of you. Go back to your subreddit stacks, and I'm not going to get deeper than that. Shut me off now before I get even angrier.
I don't know. That's what gets the views. But Raj, I always say, I mean, you can.
Really, one last thing. Every single one of you, you're all bullies. You're doing the exact opposite of what you think you're not doing. You're bullying. You're bullying a girl, a female talent, To what? What did she say wrong? Did she say, yeah, I loved when he ripped his shirt off and supported Donald Trump? She didn't say that. Did she say, yeah, I loved when he made racist comments? I thought that was the coolest thing ever. Yeah. No, she didn't say that either. So shame on all of you when she was asked a point blank question. What was this man's mark in the professional wrestling industry? And she shared her story along with her husband's story as a little boy, just like me, growing up and idolizing this man. So shame on all of you coward bullies.
And by the way, when he's saying shame on all of you, he's not talking to you, the listeners of this podcast. He's talking about the people that are bullying Chelsea Green.
There's nobody. Time out, Raj. Real quick, know your audience. Our audience ain't doing that shit. So don't insult me insulting them because I'm not stupid. Nobody in our comment section does that stuff. They don't bully a female wrestling talent with their culture vulture crap. They're not on our page, at least. I know that.
Well, it goes to what you mentioned earlier, too, about context. I think if you're saying these things about someone like Chelsea Green, you clearly don't know much about Chelsea Green because she's always been a proud advocate for many different people.
There was
when she was still building her name, when she didn't have the name she has today. She was doing it back then. And they all had her back and loved her for it, right? And then all of a sudden they just delete that from their data banks? No, it's because like everybody's praising Hulk Hogan as he's passed because P.S. folks, he died. As terrible, not as terrible as maybe some of you think. And I've watched some people like praise it with videos. You have major issues and you all need to find God for a lot of you.
Raj, any comments on the, I don't know if there's much to add, but I would say to everyone, don't take anything on Twitter seriously. Don't take anything on X seriously. Yeah, I mean, but it's easier for me to say I'm a smaller audience. So.
I got death threats a couple of weeks ago for saying I didn't like Dynamite. So
no, rewind. No, time out. No, 20-second. Rewind. Yeah. I want to hear what happened.
That we told you about it last week when I had tweeted about not liking Dynamite and Tony Khan had responded to that tweet.
I saw that.
And then all these people were replying with like racist stuff and a couple death threats in there. And it's just like,
like they're going to kill
times.
you?
Yeah. Yeah. They're like, or no, well, like, I hope you die. You need to die. That kind of stuff. Not I'll kill you, but.
Guys, get a grip. You're talking about men in their freaking underwear pretending to fight in a wrestling ring where I shoot a guy off and he magically bounces off the ropes back to me. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Get a grip.
Which, by the way, if you ever run the ropes, that's not what you'd want to do. If you were ever, those ropes don't bounce the way they look like they do on TV.
No. Oh my God, no.
But all this to say, it sounds like Hulk Hogan has some documentaries in the work, or some documentaries about Hulk Hogan are in the works. Raj, do we know anything about this yet? Do we know what the details are on this yet?
Yeah, so there's a Netflix documentary, and there's actually Fox is producing 2 documentaries. So there's 3 major documentaries in the works. So,
good.
Is the Chris Hemsworth movie still coming out? Do we know what's going on with that?
I think that was dropped.
Did you see how good he looked?
Did
you see how exact the whole
did I?
Looked? He looked identical with a better head of hair. Hang on. He looked identical to brand new yellow, red and yellow Hulk Hogan in WCW when he first started in '94. He looked identical to that physique.
Yeah,
he looked. Did you see it side by side? It looks identical.
Yeah,
which
by the way, Hogan
they're not going to develop it. They should.
Yeah,
that sucks.
I think because of the things, I'd imagine it's tough to do one without including certain things. But then, how do you give it a good ending if that's how it ends? You know, I don't know. I don't know why they didn't cancel it, but
the same way we talk about it. Look, guys, again for the umpteenth time, he said some unspeakable things we all heard with our own ears. It was horrifically terrible, horrifically racist. At the same time, whether you like it or not, without him, there's no wrestling business today. Full stop.
Well, speaking of the wrestling business, we're talking all about it here on Podcast Heat Wrestling. Subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss anything. Plus, subscribers can be in the chat, and super chats get bumped to the top. So if you're in the chat, make sure to use that super chat, and we will definitely chat about what you mention in your chat there.
Do they really still say the bell?
It says subscribe and hit the bell.
I'm old. I'm asking.
It says hit the bell. That was the note that was the note I got. So it also says Podcast Heat brings you the latest and greatest in pro wrestling with Hall of Famers, legends, and today's stars, including Eric Bischoff, Lex Luger, Mick Foley, Jim Ross, Jeff Jarrett, JBL, Tully Blanchard, The Godfather, and more. Podcast Heat Wrestling also offers the definitive YouTube membership for wrestling fans. Tomorrow on the D'Lo Brown on the lowdown, D'Lo Brown will be watching back his infamous SummerSlam matches from 1998 against Val Venus and 1999 against Jeff Jarrett, both opening the show.
Better be chest protector D'Lo Brown. It better be chest protector.
I love chest protector D'Lo Brown. That was so great.
It was.
But also on Thursday, we got David Sahadi will be discussing his time working with Hulk Hogan in the WWF and TNA. Plus, he will get into how he left the WWE and what happened with Kevin Dunn and Vince McMahon on Beyond the Lens. And on Friday, ECW founder Todd Gordon will have Bill Alfonso on Todd is Pod, telling Hulk Hogan stories from their time on the road together and more on Todd is Pod. Man, Raj, Podcast Heat, place to be, tons of stuff.
I'm cutting him off. You should have directed to me, but I'll jump in again.
Okay.
No offense. Sorry, Raj. I was just going to say, like, the David Sahadi one really excites me because he's such an unsung hero. I said it last time we did the show. In the Attitude Era of what he meant to it with those slick video packages. And it's every wrestler's favorite video packages that we grew up on that eventually became wrestlers on. So if I can tell you guys enough, subscribe to all those different shows you just heard, especially tune in to David Sahadi and the Lowdown with D'Lo Brown, because I think those are very underrated shows that we're blessed to have on Podcast Heat.
Do you remember that old video package, that promo that had like Freddie Blassie sitting in the chair and they're talking about the future legends and they're like, now we cheer for them? That was David Sahadi.
That was good.
Legend. Yeah. So underrated. Everybody always give those props to Dunn, and Kevin was a legend at what he did, but not like David. And David was unlike Kevin, where Kevin wanted the credit. David never wanted the credit, and that's what always separated. And that's why the boys always loved working with David even more.
That's probably why Kevin Dunn got all the credit. But Bloby with a great comment here. Jack with the smooth transition.
There you go.
Flattery will get you everywhere.
We just put over every show but our own. Don't put them over that much.
Well, the best is Massive Heat. Now I've got Massive Heat. I didn't put over our own show.
Yeah, we need them to update that copy.
I hope the other shows, D'Lo Brown better be putting us over on the lowdown.
I agree with that.
And I want him to shake his head while he does it too.
Jack, great call.
We've got some injury news to chat about here. Will Ospreay made an announcement that he is injured. Says the MRI showed 2 herniated discs, and he will be out of action for a while, but claims that he will be returning by August 24th for Forbidden Door. Matt Morgan. That seems like a very serious injury with a very quick turnaround.
So herniated discs are not a quick turnaround. Like I put off back surgery for as long as I could. I was told I needed it 2006, 2007. It was right after I left WWE and I was wrestling for New Japan. And that was around the time I was still trying to get rid of my painkiller addiction at the same time and deal with back pain and spasms. And I was told then I was supposed to get it done. And I did all these other things to be able to push it off until I retired from pro wrestling. And I had back surgery just 2 years ago now. So it's 2025, 2022, 2023 I had my back surgery done. My point of the story is it's nagging, it's very, very painful. And I had to get, I still think I lost an inch of my height from it, to be crystal clear with everybody, because I had vertebrae removed from my spinal cord.
Ooh.
But like I should have had it done a long time ago, and I didn't, because because as a wrestler, you're scared you're not going to get booked if you're getting that kind of surgery. So for his part, when I saw that promo in the ring, because I watch AW every week, I'm like, maybe part of like storyline, he's exaggerating. I'm hoping, because for him to be able to come back that quick is impressive. As a former wrestler, like, wow, that dude's got grit. He's got an iron, whatever you want to call it, like iron will to want to come back and continue to satiate his audience that he loves performing in front of. And that's admirable as hell. But then the other part is like, mathematically, that's impossible. You can't come back that quick from it. And I wonder if it's a weird storyline, but I'm hoping it's a storyline. His back really isn't like that. He just has back spasms, and it's not what he said it was, is what I'm praying for him.
It was weird because when he was doing that promo, it felt like he was going to say, so I'm going to be gone for a long time.
Forever.
Instead, he's like, I'm back in like 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Do you think it's possible that I don't think he'd lie. I mean, he's really injured. Like you said, maybe it's
severe back.
What he's saying is true. Do you think that's an injury you could work one match on, and he wants to work Forbidden Door in London? So maybe he's wants to get through that match, and then they do an injury angle and write him off.
Good. Okay. No, that would make sense. But
is it smart to work at all with, the double herniated discs?
You can't always work around every injury, no matter what that injury is. But the problem is he's so high action and action packed. I could do it because I'm a 7-foot like giant doof, right? He's a go high spot, super impressive offensive maneuver guy. So I don't know how he dances around that. I don't.
Matt, real quick, I know there were some podcasts. Just the last thing about Hogan before we kind of move on. I know there were some podcasters that you listened to last week, and you weren't really happy with how the Hogan story was covered.
Nope.
I know like with Dave Meltzer, I follow him on Twitter, and for some reason he seems to love to downplay Hogan on Twitter. He's been doing that a lot.
His importance to the business, yes.
Right. Like, people will be saying like, oh, Hogan was the biggest star we've had. And he's like, no, Marcus Aurelius and was much bigger in 320 AD.
Marcus Aurelius. He sold out the Coliseum.
He sold out the Coliseum. He fought tigers, which were way scarier than Andre the Giant.
It was Antoine Rocca. I heard
Frank
that.
Gotch, he keeps bringing up Frank Gotch, and which obviously all this is true wrestling history, but obviously people are referring to modern wrestling, the wrestling as we know it today.
Yes, and of course now my camera gimmicks out. Sorry guys for the crappy view. I was gonna say that when I first watched Dave Meltzer, and it was, what's his partner's name?
Brian Alvarez.
Brian Alvarez, thank you. No disrespect to Brian. It was Brian and Dave, and it was the first 10 minutes into their podcast, their video podcast, where they started talking about the importance of Hulk. Where in the beginning it was frustrating because Brian's like, well, I technically was never a Hulk Hogan fan, and like, you're cooler than school, like you knew in the 80s. He didn't have good work rate, bro. As a kid, none of us knew that. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been my favorite feud when I was a little kid before Hulk Hogan was Andre the Giant versus Big John Studd. Go back and watch that match now, guys. Go watch the broad arms to their chest that they would constantly throw at each other as their high spots in those matches. But as a kid, you don't know any better. And act like you did is crazy, but no disrespect, because I'll give Brian Alvarez credit. He came back on the back end and did another show with his, not Dave, but his different partner he does on the Figure Four Weekly, where they did go over the entire career of Hulk Hogan and his importance to the business. But with Dave, in my opinion, as a wrestler or a fan even, the world's greatest, when wrestlers pass away, he's always done the best out of anybody I've ever seen, even attempting to cover wrestler deaths. Their complete bio of who they were, where they grew up, and what they became as a professional athlete. And he did a much, much better job with randos that none of you have ever heard of, by by the way, than I thought he did with Hulk Hogan. Now, when he actually had to do the bio for Hulk on paper, he did a good job. But my disappointment was, and you guys saw me blowing up your texts, both of you guys, you, Raj and Jack, and my friends at Podcast Heat, I was so irate because I'm talking the very first coverage that Dave did on any of his death. We're talking 13, 14 minutes in before he started saying anything remotely positive on this guy's impact. He kept talking about his comments, his racist comments. Fair on Dave for saying that's not something I would lead with when somebody dies and passes away and their family might be, you don't know, watching. And talking about their importance to the industry. The industry, there's never, again, I sound like I continue to repeat myself. There's never been an athlete more important to our wrestling industry than that man. It's just fact. Whether, he had no good work rate, Morgan. He was a steroid addict, Morgan. He was a liar, Morgan. He was a racist, Morgan. He said these racist comments, Morgan. He can be all those things combined. You still can't take away, at the end of the day, in my opinion, without him, there is no pro wrestling. It would have died a slow death eventually. And the fact that these folks can't call it out because he's not doing dropped. Actually, he did. If you go back and watch his matches in Japan, he could do drop toe holds. He could do enziguris. He was doing a lot of that kind of wrestling. He did it in the 90s, by the way. We went back to Japan and did it. But many wrestling fans that are haters of his don't even know that because they don't want to even go back and even look at it. He could do all that stuff. But again, I was disappointed in Meltzer's coverage of it because he's a historian. The best classified historian we have in our business is history, quite frankly, when it comes to doing bios for wrestlers that pass away. And the first 14 minutes of their video conversations between him and Brian Alvarez, they didn't even get into it. It was all hatred. It was all crapping on him. It was all, well, Bubba said this and what? No, get to the meat and potatoes of what that man meant to this industry, Dave, that allows you still to this day to make money from not getting your own lazy ass in a ring, getting in shape and becoming a pro wrestler yourself, but you getting to cover and give people 3 stars, 2 stars, 1 star, 5 star, 20 stars if it's AEW, okay? And make money off of doing that. That's the thanks you give the guy? Shame.
We got a super chat, and I want to send this one to you, Matt. It's from Instagram, a wrestling historian.
That's my boy. I know him.
With sneaky move, Instagram, a wrestling historian, to get your ad read off on here. Says, asks, what's your favorite Hulk Hogan match? Thank you.
Ooh. So that's not fair. So,
and this one's for Raj too. Raj, I'm gonna want your answers.
So as a little boy, I got to give a couple. I can't just give you one. Everyone's gonna say him slamming Andre because in WrestleMania because it was so enormous. But on the same parallel, for me as a little kid, was when Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff, turned heel on him. And they were a tag team at first. And that's how I learned the word Benedict Arnold. I even knew what the hell that phrase even meant. I had no clue as a little boy what Benedict Arnold even meant. I did with that classic series, classic feud that Mr. Wonderful put off surgery to his neck, if I remember correctly, to get because it was a big payday for him. And he's one of the few foes of Hulk that actually looked the part physically, athletically, and jacked and could look like he can give a run for his money on the mic and in the ring. I love Mr. Wonderful. And secondarily, you probably wouldn't have predicted this, but Bundy Mania. WrestleMania 2, him versus Bundy. I was very worried going into it that Bundy, because he broke his ribs going into that match, was going to pulverize him. So those 3 matches, sorry.
Bigfoot Sneakerhead says Hogan versus Ultimate Warrior
good one.
Was there.
Great choice.
But Raj, what's you? You're on the big screen now. What is your favorite Hogan match?
Yeah, I'm gonna avoid the easy ones, the Andre and Rock. I'm gonna go with Hogan and Orndorff on Saturday night's main event when they had the cage match when they came out at the same time. That's one of them. But my favorite of all those like Saturday night's main event matches was still him and Andre with the double referee. It was such a crazy event. We didn't get pay-per-views where I lived in New Mexico.
Huge.
And so that was the closest thing to, it was like a couple hour delay, but it was closest thing to like a live pro wrestling match. Seeing Hogan lose a title, it was momentous. One of the most memorable, crazy nights of my childhood. So I'd have to go with that.
In Raj's defense, the entire, like if you were in school at the time, if you're in sports clubs, you're on sports teams, I don't care what clubs, wherever the hell you were, it wasn't just you. It was non-wrestling fans talking about that exact finish. Yeah. Everybody knew it, dude. Everybody knew it.
Yeah. What about you, Jack?
Yeah, mine is my favorite is the no.
Do it.
Yeah, go. Single up. Close up.
So my favorite was Hulk Hogan versus Goldberg on Nitro. Yeah. I've said this story before, but my friends and I, we all got together. It was summer break, and we spent all day just doing different wrestling stuff, playing the games, watching some wrestling matches, and then watched that Nitro. And it was a great Nitro because it built up to the match the whole show. And that crowd was insane. I have it burned into my brain the moment when he's got Hulk Hogan up, and you can see like the shot is like perfectly shooting up at him, and you can see like I think it's toilet paper getting thrown in the ring. But it looks beautiful in the shot. But I absolutely loved that matchup and Hogan in general. Like I've said before, if I put together my top 20 favorite wrestling moments, Hogan's got to be in half of them.
And one thing I loved about that match too is they made it look like it was going to end in a DQ because you had the NWO running to the ring. And it's like, God damn it, it's going to be a DQ. And then Goldberg speared him and clean finish. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was, and yeah, the whole thing, I absolutely love it. And something I've realized today too, as we talk about Hogan more, is you forget how big he was. You know, everyone talks about how wrestlers aren't as big as they used to be, and sometimes I feel like, well, they're still big wrestlers. Hulk Hogan was like almost Braun Strowman size, like, and Braun.
Who's every bit of 6'8", 6'8.5" at his prime.
If someone Hulk Hogan's size was wrestling today, we'd call him a giant today.
I agree.
Yeah. He was big back then too, but you wouldn't think of him as like a giant. He was just a big guy.
Can you understand when people try to make fun of him for picking the big boss mans of the world, the Earthquakes or Akeems of the world, Big John Studs of the world, like why it would make sense? Because he gets to be the David versus Goliath in those very rare situations. And people are too stupid to even understand that.
Because that was what really drove it home to me is tonight during that package, they showed the picture of him and Triple H flexing together. And I was like, Triple H looks kind of small next to Hogan. And Triple H is a big fella.
And this was when Hogan was like 48.
Yeah. I was like, geez, Hogan is very much bigger than Triple H. And Triple H is not a small fella.
I didn't think he dwarfed him. I did. When they did their first like face-to-face, I got the vibe right. We're like, cool, this is awesome. Hunter is a total Hulkamaniac, and he's loving this. And he's not showing it, and he's still giving him his props in that promo at the same time saying, I'm going to kick your ass. One of the very few that could be a Hulkamaniac as a kid while still doing business. Edge did it as well. I thought it's really good as well, too.
I didn't mean I meant in the image they showed just today.
I know what you mean. With it flexing. Yeah.
Yeah. One looked like he's just like, wow, because in my mind, I feel like they were about the same size, but that was like, oh no, Hogan's massive.
Yes. And this is before he started losing his inches because of his back surgery.
Yeah, he's a very big fella, but a lot of stuff. And everyone in the chat, I want you to all just keep giving us your favorite Hogan matches, and in the comments as well. Continue to give us your favorite Hogan matches. But there's definitely someone I want to give a shout out to in the chat right now who has joined us. Nick Mills 6987 says, first time catching the show. Love it. Just subscribe. So I want to give a big shout out to Nick. Thanks so much for joining the show. Glad you could like, comment, share, subscribe. And thank you for being a part of this crazy show we call Massive Heat.
Thank you, Nick. Thanks, Nick, for jumping on here, and hopefully you tell your friends about us. Thank you, brother.
And that does it for the news portion of the show. We're going to get into some ratings talk. I know, Matt, you've got some other obligations. Are you good to hang out, or do you got to take off?
I got to get going because I got to get up in 4 hours to get on a flight to Atlanta. So my apologies.
No problem at all. Thank you so much for being with us. We're going to keep the show going, but Matt, you get some sleep, get some shut eye.
Love you, boys. Thank you, guys.
Take care, brother. I'm going to say brother a lot now. Just you
Brother.
know.
Let's see here, and then 2 up. There we go. 2 up.
Other one.
Oh, I got the wrong one. We are there.
We go.
I am a technical mastermind. Blopey, though, with an interesting comment, Raj. He's heading out because he's El Grande Americano.
Too soon.
Can't.
It's very Mr. America-ish, that gimmick.
We got some ratings news in, Raj, and it looks like it was pretty good for NXT. Not so good for AEW. You're the expert of breaking down the numbers. What's going on with the ratings this week?
Yeah, let's see. So first of all, since SmackDown was the most recent, they did the Hulk Hogan tribute is coming right off of this passing. They did their best numbers in months for that Hulk Hogan tribute show. 1.706 million viewers, a 0.048 18 to 49 rating, number one on all of television. It was the third week in a row that they were number one on all of TV, and they've been doing that a lot lately. 5 out of the last 6 weeks they were number one on all of TV, not just cable. So but the show was a big success and a really good rating for Raw. For SmackDown. As for NXT also did a good number, 747,000 viewers, like way up. One of their best numbers since, I think it was going back to February as far as total viewers, and a 0.16, 18 to 49 rating. That was the episode with Undertaker appearing. So, Undertaker did give it a boost, but I think, Undertaker's drawing power has gone down a little bit, but still really good. Collision last week, not this past Saturday, the Saturday before, did its all-time lowest 18 to 49 rating with a 0.06, all-time lowest where they didn't have a WWE pay-per-view that same day. And then Dynamite did its second lowest rating in history this past Wednesday. That's followed before, the week before they did one of their all-time lowest. So all the shows since All In have been near record lows. And so I don't know what that means. I had my opinions that night. I know I got skewered on Twitter, but I thought they should have had a better show. I thought, that venue looks great for like if you're doing ROH or something, or if it's an NXT taping. But I think coming off a stadium show, you want to look big league. Should have had it, just a break, like one of the smaller arenas they run that doesn't look like a tiny arena on TV. And I think not having a big match or any marquee matches coming off of that big show, I felt like the next day after All In, Tony Khan should have been on Twitter and advertised something huge for Dynamite that week to get people excited. Be plugging it all week, big segments. You only have one time a year to come on, to follow up your biggest show of the year. And, I just felt like it was a big opportunity missed. So, but this week they were doing Hangman versus Mox for the world title. So hopefully that improves things, but hopefully they get some of that momentum back.
I've never ran a show like that before, but something that always bugs me about whether or not I want to tune in or buy tickets or something is that they do that isn't like WWE is I always say, I don't know what I'm going to get on AEW, but not in a good way. Like if there were tickets to buy to go see a show here in LA in 2 months, I have no idea who's going to be on that show. Like, am I going to get Hangman? I don't know. Is Mox going to be there? I don't know. But if I bought Raw tickets, I'm pretty confident I'm going to see Braun Breaker. Pretty confident I'm going to see Bronson Reed. Pretty confident I'm going to see CM Punk. There's certain people I'm pretty confident who I'm going to see. But with AEW, like this week outside of Hangman Mox, am I going to get to see Tony Storm? I don't know. Maybe. Am I going to get to I don't really know what I'm tuning into. And having people in 8-person tag team matches doesn't necessarily feel like I'm seeing them. It just feels like a mass of humanity. So I don't know if that's the thing. I'm just trying to figure out what it could be.
I think there's too many multi-person matches, and usually, and this goes for Raw tonight too. When you see a multi-person match, you just get it's just kind of like, okay, it's not important. And when I say multi-person, I'm not including tag teams. You have one tag team against one tag team, it feels like a big deal if it's done right. But when you have 5 tag teams in there, it doesn't. And I just think that both companies just do so many multi-person matches now that it just takes away the drama from when it's just one-on-one. And I think they, especially coming off a big pay-per-view, I think next week when WWE's coming off SummerSlam, I bet you they'll load up Raw. It's going to be all their top stars will be on. Roman will be there. CM Punk will be there. At least CM Punk will be there. I'm not sure about Roman, but load those shows up because you're getting extra viewers those days and you want to hook those viewers to keep tuning in. And I know they're doing a residency in Chicago, but first of all, I don't get if they're so profitable, why they need to be doing these residencies in these tiny arenas for Dynamite. I could see it for Collision and ROH. But again, even if you're doing it, start it a different week. The week after All In, I just feel like aesthetically it should be something bigger looking. But whatever, they are where they are, and hopefully they get some momentum back this week.
Yeah, I'm surprised they don't do some kind of where they're in the neighboring stadium that week and they do the combo tickets, or because WWE does that kind of stuff all the time too, where you get the combo ticket and then you're getting the wave of people buying those. But
yeah,
I don't know. I've never sold tickets, so maybe I'm mistaken. But we did have Raw tonight, and we did have a lot of multi-person matchups. We had a mixed tag team match to kick things off. AJ Styles and the Kabuki Warriors beating Judgment Day. Of course, later in the show, Roxanne Perez wants to play video games with Dom. Dom's naive to what's going on, I think. And we also got Grayson Waller versus Sheamus, with Rusev attacking Sheamus after the match. And Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch had a promo with Lyra Valkyria getting one up on the man. Raj, this opening part of Raw, any major takeaways? It feels like, and this is probably a lot of the show, feels a little bit of a holding pattern going into SummerSlam.
Yeah, until the end, it was very by the numbers. And I did think, I got to say, Grayson Waller is one of the highlights, for me lately. And I thought he was great. I always feel like his size might hurt him a little bit from becoming a main event guy. Hopefully it doesn't, because that guy is so good. And I thought he was just fantastic.
Yeah, he has a way of just, he understands the assignment. Anytime he's on, he knows exactly what he's supposed to be doing. And he's good in the ring too. He's very good in the ring. I mean, and he's one of those guys that you could send to a Today Show and not only promote the show, but also be that character and make it work as well. Really, really underrated good, I think. I hope he gets a lot of opportunities.
And this thing with the New Day, I like it. I like this pairing that with him and the New Day. It's interesting to me.
The New Day are funny. I'm really digging what they're doing right now. This is fun for me. We also got Sami Zayn, Karrion Kross in a promo where Karrion Kross says Sammy will say he was right, and Sammy's like, nuh-uh. But then we also got Bayley not knowing what to do with her life now. Jelly Roll doesn't like Logan Paul, and of course that 8-woman tag team matchup. Before we get into the final portion of the show, this again felt a little bit like we need to make sure we touch on everything that's happening in SummerSlam, but also it feels a bit like their stories have been finished until then. So they just need to sort of remind us until that day.
Yeah. That's totally what it felt like. I had a hard time getting interested basically until the Gunther promo. I mean, I thought the matches were fine. The action was, there was nothing bad on the show. It just was very, by the numbers up and down until the end.
Yeah, I felt like as we get to the final portion of the show, Judgment Day retain over LWO with 2 El Grande Americanos. Gunther,
I think the other one. Who do you think the other one was? I thought that was Pete Dunne. That's kind of
Pete Dunne. That's kind of who I was thinking too. Actually, I pulled up. I went to WWE.com and I was looking at who it could be. Pete Dunne was the one that stood out the most to me as likely. Plus, he's been mysteriously gone lately, which makes him a perfect candidate for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So everyone in the chat, let us know who you think El Grande Americano 2 is in the chat or in the comments. I want to see what everyone else thinks. I was thinking maybe a Ridge Holland, but he's not someone who would be surprising once you find out it's him.
Right.
I was trying to think of who are the people we haven't seen on TV in a long time, but also didn't get sent away for anything, like didn't have like a big moment that caused them to leave, so we forgot about them. But we got Gunther CM Punk promo and Jey Uso versus Bronson Reed, with Braun Breaker showing us his plan is to just beat people up, which is pretty good plan. Yeah,
hey, it works.
Jeff Bailey, by the way, says it's Pete Dunne for sure. So yeah, anything. I guess final thoughts on this part, but I would say this is where I'm watching a show like this, and I feel like, that Judgment Day tag team match probably could have been next week. As we're getting a little later into the show, I'm like, some of the stuff could have been bumped to next week. We don't, me though, after 120 minutes, I always say that's what you get.
Right. Yeah. I thought so too. I mean, I didn't think that match needed to be on the show. I thought the Punk promo, Punk is always great on the mic. He's always, didn't he just a few months ago say he didn't care about the world title, and now he's talking about how much it means to him, but who cares? It's one of those things that, if you're nitpicking about wrestling, that's one thing that is you're really nitpicking. I thought Punk was fantastic, but again, it's kind of what you would expect. But yeah, that ending beatdown with Braun Breaker, where Roman and Jay team up, they kind of clear the ring of them. You almost think that's it, but then outside the ring, Bronson Reed ambushes them, and then they just beat the living hell out of it. But Braun Breaker just looked like a main event guy in this segment. And I thought it just did a great job of making him. I mean, the way they've elevated him since Seth Rollins has been gone, because before Seth Rollins left, he was kind of on still his same level, but rising up. And now he has just shot up since then. And who knows if the Seth Rollins thing is work, but if it is, and he comes back as a big surprise, it worked double, because you get the big surprise with Seth coming back, and you've gotten Braun Breaker really shoot to another level.
Yeah, today was the first time I thought Braun Breaker, he's not the future, he's the now. He's ready. He felt every bit like if you said we're going to do Braun Breaker versus Roman Reigns, I'd say, yeah, let's go. There's it wouldn't feel like a guy who's not ready for that moment in that moment. And now when Seth comes back, I'm fascinated, because like this isn't going to go well. Braun Breaker's not just going to be like, yes, sir, you're the boss again. This is great. I will say one last thing about the CM Punk thing. Something that gripes me a little bit is he said like Gunther hasn't earned the right to call himself the best in the world. Like, where have you been, CM Punk? He's been beating everybody. Come on, like he's earned that right.
But it takes a little more time. He's only been on top a year. You gotta have more of a track record.
I'm a CM Punk hater, so I like to play.
You're one of those.
No, he's incredible.
Justice for Jungle Boy.
Justice for Jungle Boy. If you let him fight just a little bit longer, Jungle Boy was about to come back.
He was coming back. He was suckering him in.
No, it's just fun CM Punk is one of the best in the world. I always say he's one of the best at selling a ticket on the microphone on planet Earth. It's just fun to I just like poke at him a little bit. Bigfoot Sneakerhead with a super chat for you. Raj says, question for Raj. Any big name contracts expiring? I believe AEW needs a big name to draw numbers to the product. Honestly, don't really want to watch it.
Gosh, I can't think of any. It feels like everyone's been re-signed. So let me see. Karrion Kross, I think his contract was coming up. I think next month. But you got to think they're putting him on SummerSlam. You got to think that he's sticking around. But I think everybody else has got years now. I don't think Bailey is late next year, but that's about it.
Yeah, I don't think that there's no one that AEW is going to sign that's going to magically turn them around. They're going to have to do something for their show, because even when WCW signed Hulk Hogan, they needed to get that storyline right and that what was going on in the show right before it really turned things around. It wasn't like Hogan signed and suddenly they were beating WWE the next week.
Right.
So even if they got John Cena to sign, they needed to have him doing something that's compelling to get people to tune in.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at, kind of back to Hulk Hogan, having him turn heel and join the NWO changed wrestling. But if he had turned heel and joined the Dungeon of Doom, right, it wouldn't have changed wrestling. You have to have the right story. It has to. I mean, we're seeing it with Cena, him turning heel. If you don't have the right story, you don't have the right elements, it just doesn't work.
Yeah. So we're going into SummerSlam, and that means it's time for everyone's favorite part of the show, SummerSlam predictions. Everyone in the chat, feel free to join along. Let us know who you think is going to win and lose each match. And someone keep track so everyone can know that I have a perfect prediction record with a few asterisks next to it, but it's perfect.
Except for the ones you got wrong.
Except for those ones. Yeah, that's an asterisk.
Yeah.
It's not.
Right.
It's not I put money on Goldberg to win, by the way.
Yeah. Was that the one you texted me asking where you could bet?
No, that was during WrestleMania because I was in Vegas.
Oh, right.
So I was like, I felt like gambling, and then I had some money left over in the account. So I was like, I'm just gonna throw it on Goldberg and see what happens. But it's only like they only let you bet like $25. You can't do anything crazy anyways.
Makes
but
sense.
so we're gonna go through these. Night one. This one doesn't have a day on it yet, so we'll start with this one. The TLC match for all the tag team championships. All the teams are basically in it. DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, Wyatt Six, Street Profits, Fraxium, and Andrade and Ray Phoenix. Who you got winning this one?
I think Andrade and Ray Phoenix. I think they're a new team. They're getting a little push. They look really good. I think they show a ton of potential, so I'm going to go with them.
I'm going with Wyatt Six because they just won the titles, and I got a feeling that they're going to give those guys a big runway to try to do something with them. Tiffany Stratton, the champion, versus Jade Cargill, singles match for the WWE Women's Championship.
I'm going Jade. And I think Tiffany Stratton beats her down afterwards and turns heel because she needs to be a heel.
She's so good as a heel.
Yeah.
I think Jade Cargill wins. It just feels like it's her time.
Yeah.
Not Tiffy time. Randy Orton and Jelly Roll versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul in a tag team match. Now, Drew McIntyre is stuck, not able to make it to the United States right now, but they say it should be okay. Raj, what's going to happen here?
I think Drew makes it back, but if he doesn't, I know Miz threw his hat in the ring, but I could see them wanting to put Miz in that situation because he is a pretty well-known star. And it's Jelly Roll, Logan Paul. I could see them using the Miz, but yeah. I hope Drew makes it back because Drew has just been killing it. I love that promo that he did where he was letting fans know that he was stuck in the UK and then turns it into a promo on Jelly Roll. Like he's just a pro, like to use that situation, a real life situation, and then still turn it into an angle. I love that.
Drew has been so good on social media. I agree. I hope he makes. I think Miz is probably the best choice for them if he can't. But yeah, I'm going to go with Randy Orton and Jelly Roll winning. So I don't think it really matters who ends up coming through there because everyone's going to want to see Jelly Roll. Like, no one wants to see Jelly Roll get hit with a Claymore and pin. That's no fun.
I think Jelly Roll. I think Randy Orton hits Logan Paul with the RKO and then lets Jelly Roll hit a big move and get the pin.
Yeah, that's it, which will be super fun. Bigfoot Sneakerhead says Miz also, and also says that the tag team match will be on Sunday. Apparently, I did not see the date, so I'll believe you. Then we've got. I don't think this order is correct on Wikipedia, so I'm going to go with a different match here. Judgment Day: Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez versus Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss. Tag team championships on the line. Raj, who you got?
This is kind of a tough one because Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair have a lot of steam right now. I'm going to still go with Roxanne and Raquel. I think they're just too new as champions, and I think they're doing a great job. But I'm going to go with them.
I was strongly thinking it was Judgment Day because I thought that Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss are just going to implode. Mm-hmm. But man, they're working really good right now. I think they got to keep them as a team. That said, I got a feeling Judgment Day looks strong until Liv Morgan comes back. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed tag team match. This one got a little spicy.
It did. I really wanted it to be 2 singles matches. I wanted Roman and Braun, but I could see why they're not doing that yet. They don't want to beat either guy. Roman and Jey win it. I think Roman pins Bronson Reed to get the win. They're not having Roman lose at SummerSlam and at WrestleMania. Plus, after the angle tonight, Roman gets his revenge. So Roman and Jey.
Yeah, that just makes sense to me. And then you can do the singles matches later. Plus, Roman needs some wins. His win-loss record hasn't been stellar since he lost the title. So I think he gets the win there. Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross. Will Sami Zayn say that Karrion Kross was right?
I think it's Sami Zayn, but if Karrion Kross re-signs, I could see them switching gears, but I'm going Sami Zayn.
Yeah, Sami Zayn. I think he needs to get some big wins too. And if Karrion Kross's contract is in the air, I'm not picking him. But if he resigns, then the match that Wikipedia has is the third match of the night, but I'm guessing closes the show. Gunther versus CM Punk Heavyweight Championship on the line. Does CM Punk finally do it?
I think Punk does it, and Seth cashes in.
Ooh,
what do you got?
I think Gunther's going to win it because I'm a Punk hater. No, I really think CM Punk's going to win, but I'm going to pick Gunther just to keep my hating badge.
There you go.
We go on to night 2, Sunday, Dominic Mysterio versus AJ Styles for the Intercontinental Championship.
Dominic.
Yeah, like I said, I think Judgment Day is going to run the table until Liv comes back, and then it's going to be hard for Liv to come back because they'll be like, hey, we've been doing good since you've been gone.
Yeah.
Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu Steel Cage U.S. Championship.
Jacob Fatu all day.
Yeah, I'm never voting against Jacob Fatu. Are you crazy? That guy's crazy.
Yeah, I did pick Solo last time, but it made sense to keep the program going. I don't think so. It was right for Solo to win there, so Jacob Fatu could win it on the big stage.
Yeah, I did not pick Solo last time because I never pick against Jacob Fatu. Even though I was wrong, I'm going to do it again.
Unless he's wrestling CM Punk.
Becky Lynch puts the title on the line against Lyra Valkyria. No DQ, no count out. Last chance match for the Intercontinental Championship.
Lyra,
really? You think
yeah.
Lyra? I am a big Lyra fan, and I'm also a Becky hater, but I think Becky's going to win this one.
All right. Did you see Happy Gilmore too? Becky
I have
Lynch
not seen it yet. I heard it was good.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely not like part 1.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun. I thought it was a blast. There's just tons of cameos. It's not really funny, but it just tons of cameos, and it's a blast.
Well, you take what you get with Adam Sandler these days. So
right.
I'll be honest, my expectations aren't like super high, but it's a fun watch. But I got a feeling Becky wins. Bailey then beats Becky, and then we get Lyra. Bailey.
Okay.
Is the game I'm thinking here. Naomi versus Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky triple threat match.
Naomi retains. It's too soon for her to lose.
Yeah, and she's been awesome with that championship. I agree.
Yeah.
John Cena, Cody Rhodes, street fight. This is like a all hardcore show.
Yeah.
Night, by the way, every one of
tons
these
of steps on night 2. Yeah.
Yeah, every one of them is a stip, really, except for Dom and AJ.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Cody wins. I think Cena turns babyface at the end.
I think you and I are parking our car in the same garage. That's exactly what I think is going to happen. Cody Rhodes gets the win, and John Cena gets back on track where he should be.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the show. I think we predicted it perfectly. Even though we had different answers, I think we got it all.
One of us is going to be 100%.
One of us is going to be 100%. Everyone in the chat, everyone in the comments, let us know which matches you think and how they're going to go, and which predictions you have. Raj, this was a fun one. We should do it again sometime. Maybe next Monday.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, let's try it.
Unless
Except Matt, I won't be here next week. I'll be out of the country, so it'll be you and Matt.
Me and Matt are gonna just make fun of you the whole time, talk behind your back.
I'm sure. Matt's been waiting for this since we started 2 weeks ago.
Matt, it's just us. Say whatever you want. But before we go, anywhere the world can find you online and follow you?
Check out practicalmoney.co, my financial newsletter. It's totally free. I give just kind of, different financial tips that I've learned over, this isn't financial advice. It's stuff I've learned, stuff I'm doing. I show my stock portfolio, my ETFs. And today I've released my latest newsletter, and it's about what I would do if I was starting over with $10,000 to invest. Exactly what I would do with that $10,000. So check it out, practicalmoney.co.
Must follow, especially if you're someone who wants to retire someday. Always great advice. Big fan of it. So I recommend everyone do so. You can follow me at Real Jack Farmer across all social media to follow all the things I am working on and doing these days. That's the best way to find me. But also make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. Follow Matt Morgan. I believe it's at BP Matt Morgan, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
That's where you can find him as well. And follow Massive Heat and Watch Pod Heat. Watch Heat Pod. Oh. Watch
Pod Heat.
Watch Pod Heat. Follow them as well, and all of the other hosts. We'll see you guys next time. I'm going to hit this old end stream button, but first I'm going to hit this outro video.